Flint, Stephen, really appreciate your contributions to the world of Transformers. For you two to be right at the birth of something so amazing and to see how it's grown, what's your take on the movieverse, and where do you see it going from there?
I was in on the tail end of the Transformer things. I was unhappy when I found out that they weren't going to have any more sessions, and then life happened. 35 years of it, 40 years of it, and went through a lot of changes and moved around. So I never thought about Transformers. And I mean, it was something that existed in my memory up until I got a call about this convention. And
all right, so let me pivot the question to him a slightly different way. What did it feel like when you got a call about this convention? There was some thing you'd forgotten that you did 35 years ago.
I turned to my wife. I said, "They want me to come to a convention to sign autographs." Now, one of the times I quit the entertainment business so many times. One of the times I quit was in a fit of rage where I went, I'm a classically trained actor and all I'm doing is selling beer. Well, so a lot of years later, and I've gone through the construction company, and I was hired by City National Bank to handle their stuff, and I worked there for 16 years, and cancer and survival and moving down to Southern California. Thank you. And so I'm down in a little town called Malden in the Boot Hill of Missouri, and I get this call. And one of the questions that Colin asked me is, he says, "Where are you headquartered now?" I'm thinking about, well, you go to the Phillips 66 station. And turn right, and just before you get out of town, it's about 3 blocks. That street's where I'm living there. And I headquartered the next block over, catty corner. So a lot of things change, and then the other big impact was all of you.
What's it like to be here?
Well,
I mean, because I've been to a million.
It just knocks me off my plate. Somebody says, "Thank you for what you were the voice of my childhood." Are you kidding? I should have bought a crying towel. God in heaven, you throw things out all your life. You just throw things out. I had this one, throw things out. You never think about it, and sometimes you sit alone in a room and go, does anything amount to anything? Anything? I mean, the best that I did, the worst that I did, and today, it's really something. I mean, it's really something.
Thank you so much. And Flint, what's your take on the current movie verse?
How do I follow up on that?
You can't, just try.
That's just not doable. But there's a life lesson for everybody in this room and that is that you never know what the thing you're going to do that's profoundly impacting people. I mean, you think, I've got to go play Macbeth at the, Madison Square Garden. No, just kidding. And that's going to be it, and it's not. Okay? I mean, you never know. You just go out and keep doing the best you can, and you're not looking around, and 35 years later, you realize, oh my God, that thing I did, that was the impact thing. All right. So about, you mean Michael Bay former movies? Is
Yes,
that,
yes.
okay.
Yes.
Now, all right. Like the energy level, importance level of this conversation is dropping quickly, but I will answer that. I did the video game for the first. It was Traveler's Tales game, and the work I did on it, they didn't really have an engine that could do most of the cinematics and stuff. So very little of that exists in the real world. So I was not unaware of that stuff when it came out. I was doing a game that was supposed to release day and date with the first Transformer movie. I have a much more charitable attitude towards Mr. Bay than a number of the people that I talk to do. This material's hard. I mean, it's very tricky material in a lot of ways, and after the first Transformer movie, I thought got more right than it got wrong. Because after this, I worked for Steven. I wrote Steven Spielberg. I wrote like Fievel and Tiny Toons when it was a movie and stuff like that for him. So I could really feel his presence in the first one because he was the executive producer. And it had a lot more heart. But what I would really say is, I could quibble in a million places, and I would even argue that the last Transformers movie, I don't even remember what the subtitle of it was, the one like a year ago. What was it called?
The Last Night.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What happened last night? But anyway, so I mean, what I really thought is that there were like 5 kind of really good ideas for a Transformer movie hidden in there, and they didn't make any of those. They just made all 5 part of a good idea for a Transformer movie. I mean, like a World War I Transformer movie, I'm in. I'd love to see that. You know what I mean? Like the steampunk Transformers, I'm there. The undersea one, I always love that stuff. I mean, we never really explored the ship, and I was always trying to do it. The ship that was that the Decepticons lived in under the water. I viewed that as a perfect game dungeon. And really wanted to explore that in an episode, and it was just one of those things we never got around to doing. But so I liked what he was trying to do in that, and I'd say in many ways people think that's the least of the movies, but I have a much more. I understood what his challenges were. He did a lot of things right. I never liked what they looked like. I understand I totally understand how he got to where he got to. It's just, I don't know it was the right place, but I have a lot of respect for what he did too.
Got you. Thank you. Appreciate you, gentlemen.
Yeah.